What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys had a good 3 day weekend, spent some time with the family, did something fun, did something different, get a little attention off of some micro news in the world, in the markets. And yeah, hope you guys are ready to go. We got another week ahead, so we'll see which way this week wants to bring us. But we got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Anna, Andy. Andy, good morning to you. We got Bill in the house. Good morning to you. Joe, Kevin, Lauren, Lou, Lucian, Martina, Renee. Good morning to Rick. We got all my people at YouTube land. We got me. Good morning to you. Good morning to M Sky. Ray is in the house. Jenny, what's happening, Jenny? All my lurkers in the background of YouTube. They're just not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe buttons. But yeah, 3 day weekend. I thought maybe that's like enough time to get some kind of, I don't know, deal or headline or something. Pretty quiet weekend overall from the White House. Nothing too crazy coming out. I think there was one like Happy Easter tweet, and everything else was kind of just died down a little bit. So um, markets are down. Flight to safety is still here. I'm looking at an extremely important level that we have to stay above for the SPY. So a little bit of a gap down. It is a retest gap. We're still, I don't really care too much about that Thursday candle. I'd rather be inside of it or gapping out like 531 for the Bulls case. So it's not a great open for the Bulls at all. However, I got one little spot somewhere right around 520, 520.46, we'll say, somewhere in that range. If we can't stay above that, and that comes off of the Lux Algo, just high volume zone over a longer period of time. So if we can't stay there, which we're just hanging in, according to Lux Algo, that takes us to about 515 for today, with the bottom end of this range somewhere around 508.62. Let's see where we get to in terms of the session volume profile. That takes us to 511.83, so that's right there. I don't have much really holding us up from that point. After that, I got us to like 506.38, and the low end, which comes off of that Wednesday, April 9th crazy candle. The last line in the sand is about 499. So could we just come down, retest that fully? Yeah, you don't really want to see it. Just obviously that could be a some kind of a bounce spot, but when I say I don't really want to see it, that is fairly low on that candle. All of those bulls came in after that, and you're telling me if we give back all of this is going to be an extremely strong bounce spot to get out of here. Maybe I don't know. That tells me there's a lot of bulls underwater from that day that thought maybe that was the bottom and probably a little bit easier to break through it. So kind of worried about that zone, but we'll see what happens. We're still pretty far off of it for now, and we are holding a little bit of support. It is a retest gap. On the way up though, I'd be looking for somewhere around 524.15. That should be our first resistance if we're just getting a retest. If some people went short over the weekend, maybe locked in some gains right at the open. So watch 524.15. And then Thursday's VPOC, somewhere around 528.26. So we'll see. Wendy says the US dollar is at all-time lows. And China, I don't think we're at all-time lows, are we? And China sent a message saying that anyone that goes with the USA and tries to isolate China will get tariffs from them. Yeah, that's. I know China is still kind of talking tough, and that's all good. Right now, you do have a lot of people still meeting with Trump, and we're still kind of working on a deal. So we'll have to see what actually plays out. But yeah, the markets would be worried about China and any additional again, just the consumer market for the US is crazy. So if a country has to pick between China and the US, I think they go US over China. So I don't know that China's there, but China's a powerhouse. So and then a lot of other countries get their stuff from China as well. So it's still not a good it's not even a good position to be in for another country to have to choose. It's like the parents are getting divorced, and then you have to pick which parent you want to go with. You're like, I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see how it plays out. The story is still obviously developing. We'll see. But Spy definitely getting hit on the face from that one. Q's we got also not opening in a great spot whatsoever. This one is below kind of the line of the sand. So this is below 438.64. And then to the downside, I do have one little support. Unfortunately, we've already been here almost twice. We almost got there on Wednesday, and we did get there on that following Thursday after that big move. So let's see how this one wants to hold. It's I don't know, kind of a little bit weaker, I think. But watch 436.96. If you break that, your next stop to the downside, 428.57. Not sure how strong that one is. I think you got more likely into the 423.89 or into the 421 zone. So that's a monster move to the downside if none of this holds. So right now, looking a little bit more short. Again, watch the upside. If it is a retest gap, let's see if we get any bids. I don't know. Q's how far we want to retest on this one, but 438.77, and then you got 444.53 takes us into that Thursday candle. So uh looking rough. It's looking rough. Potentially setting up for a little bit of a bloodbath. The other portion of things is the bond market. So here's TLTs tracking more of the 20-year bonds. You have the price of bonds going down, which means the yield is going up. So yield is going up on the longer term. Short term is still just kind of hanging out, not really doing too much. But you don't want to see the yield go up. That's telling you nobody's really even buying the long term, and that spells a little bit of longer term concern with the overall U.S. economy at least. So definitely not something to look the other way on. Watch TLT, see if you get any kind of bounce. Not opening in a great spot whatsoever for today as well. You got 86.73 is going to be your resistance. The one right before it, 86.68, so somewhere in that zone. But we're opening right now below all of that. Your next spot to the downside, somewhere around 85.98, and then you got 85.14. Usually if the stock market is coming down, I don't know where my pen is. So usually if you get stocks coming down, TLT is usually going up. They're usually inverse. Now you have stocks coming down and bonds coming down. Not much avenues for safety anywhere in the investing world, except for one shiny little object. We got gold absolutely rocketing. We got all-time highs again. I feel like that's been the story of 2025. So there's some fleet to safety in gold for right now. That's a strong move on GLD. Again, retest gap, but the overall story is not so much micro, it's all macro, and this is just another sign that there is a little bit of a fleet to safety on gold. Silver is also moving up a little bit today too. So anything in the precious metal world is looking good, and that's a nice little gap on SLV. It doesn't really move much, but there might be a little catch-up play. Maybe we could take a day trade on SLV. You have some resistance along the way. I think you got $30.26. You got $30.44. Otherwise, I think I'd be looking for like a 30.61 print. I just don't know. I don't know if we could hit that today. It shouldn't move that much, but that's a nice looking gap. 28. Yeah, that's a big candle for him on the 11th. Even that one is about 60 cents, 67 cents. So it might not move that much, but healthy looking gap for SLV as well. Lucia says picking US will cost them since Trump will most likely flip-flop on his position since this is all just a bargaining tool for a deal. And once he does flip, any country that backed us will be left out of the cold deal, left out in the cold to deal with China alone. Um, maybe unless like if I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, but I see that point. But yeah, I do think right now tariffs are still negotiation chips. I do think that TLT is what Trump is watching. Not so much TLT, but the bonds in general. If there's fear panic in the bonds, and then I think he's been publicly stating he needs Jerome Powell to lower the rates. I think there was reports that he was even considering firing Jerome Powell in private meetings. Who knows what's true? I have no idea. But that would make sense. If he could get these rates lower, if Jerome Powell could lower the rates, that would actually give Trump a little bit more time so that when they're refinancing the debt, they're not at the higher yield levels, and that would actually be a little bit of a benefit, a little bit of a ease on some of the pressure. So we'll see if Jerome Powell actually bends. Otherwise, right now you're looking at June Lydia says joining poolside from Florida. Just couldn't stay away. I like it. Well, safety first. Make sure you got your swimmies on. If you see any cool fish anywhere in the water, make sure you have some snorkels as well. I think Florida's probably pretty decent weather. This weekend was awesome weather. Yeah, I don't know. I just realized either I don't leave the house that much or I'm just really, really Irish, apparently. Yeah, I was sitting outside for like a little bit on what was it, Saturday and a little on Sunday. I went to like complete red for some reason. I was like, it's not even that crazy out, but for I guess the first sun of the year just instantly instantly burns me, I guess. I don't know, but I got a cool little pre-tan, I guess, going, which is nice. Not that Florida tan yet. If I went straight to Florida and sat there, I would just melt, I think. Like the Wicked Witch. Lydia says, been perfect every day. I love it. That's awesome. All right, so we'll see. Let me know if you guys got tickers that you guys want to take a look at. Bitcoin and crypto is looking decent too. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a flight to safety, but that looks decent. You had a good move. You got past 86,923. There's a little resistance there. You're dealing with that 100 EMA right now. That's essentially where our VPOC is, somewhere around 86,437. And if we could climb through it, I think your next spot is about 88,209. That's a big one. If you get past that, I think you're back in the 90s again. So you're up to 90,268. And then I'm looking at one that's all the way up here, 93,153. So nice little break. Good move, staying above that 200. One of the few assets that is above the 200 at this point. And we'll see if that crypto could move. So that could affect Hood. That could affect Coinbase, MSTR, Misty, Mara, Riot, all those guys. Probably more so anything directly related to Bitcoin, but that is a actual little bit of a bright spot in the market. Gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Everything else, eh, I don't know. All right, Joe wants Hood. We just mentioned it, so we'll go to that one next. Hood not really responding yet, so we'll see if we can get any bids on Hood that comes in. Otherwise, we're kind of below a key spot that I have, but still in the range. So we are below 40.53. If you want to go long on Hood or you like it even for a swing, I kind of want to see this thing get back above $40.53. Otherwise, a little bit of support, somewhere around $40.09. See if that holds. If it doesn't, you have a long way down. Your next immediate stop, I don't think it's a strong support, but 39.08. I think you get back to like 38.21, and then I see an untested VPOC. Really, really good retest spot. Still above the 200, somewhere around 36.62. I think that would be my buy spot if we get down there on Hood. So I wouldn't be too bullish yet, although you do have some good news on Bitcoin, providing that that candle today, which is still live, holds up. If not, then I think you're heading down to this 3660 zone. So right now I'd be a little indifferent, probably a little bit slightly more bearish than bullish, but watch that support. As long as you stay above 40.06, you have a case that you have some kind of a buy opportunity. If you end up getting down to that 3662 zone though, really good buy spot. Again, above your 200, and that would actually look a little bit more inverted head and shoulders for a swing. So I think I would like that a tad better if you're going to kind of actually break out. We will see. We will see, but it looks kind of indifferent today. Not crazy bullish whatsoever, and unless Bitcoin actually wants to do something and Hood can catch up to it, but right now at open, not terrific. It is kind of gapping down with the rest of the market. We got Nvidia. Lucius says, "Sure, rub it in, Lydia." Yeah, yeah, the best weather of the year in Florida, and Lucian decided to go to Wisconsin. Is that where you're at? Wisconsin? You got Nvidia is yeah. Well, you got cheese though, so that's good. You got Nvidia is gapping down. So again, we're gonna see a lot of retest gaps today. We'll see how that plays out. But lots of retest gap. You are opening to a little bit of support. My concern is I think you get some buying coming in. I think I'm hoping. I don't know. You got 97.87 is your support, so you're pretty close to it. It is a retest gap from Thursday. The problem is, I don't know if you fully retest. That would get you up to like 101.17 for today. I think that's the high end unless we have a deal or something that comes out during the day. But And who knows? I mean, we we got news market like crazy. Otherwise, I think your first target on this one is about $99.52. That doesn't give me too much room in a bullish direction, but that would be my target for today. I think you get some chop there. Maybe you break through it and then you get that full on retest. If you get that full on retest, you have about $3 to the higher side, $3.30. So you can make something happen. I don't think it's an easy path to do it though. Otherwise, if you start breaking down 97.87, I would look short. Look for like 94.40 to the low end for today, and then if you get past that, the market is probably cratering at that point. Uh, Wendy says I went to P. Where'd you go to P? I was in Long Island this weekend. Yep. So you went to PA, I went to New York. We swapped. We probably passed each other on the I don't know if you took the Jersey Turnpike. The waterfalls, you probably a little more north, I guess. Milford, yeah, I think that's a little more north. All right, we'll see. I think there was some other tickers. Palantir and Amazon, PLTR. I will be away next week though, so I'm not here next week. I'm going to Bermuda, which is going to be awesome. So I'm pretty glad I got that pre-tan. The room is still open for everybody, just so you guys know, but it's going to be Stephen King in the morning, followed by Johnny Guarks on the mic. So those two are going to cover for me next week. But while I'm just burning my skin off, we got Palantir is gapping down again. At least we're above all the moving averages. So somehow this one's still staying fairly strong considering, but not a great open for today. Again, a little bit of a retest gap. This thing might get a little bounce. You got some resistance from back on March 26th that might hold you down from a big buy the dip move at open. That could take you into like 92.34, and then you got 93.54 to the high end. So we'll see. Otherwise, to the low side, you got 88.62. You have a little bit more room to the downside. So again, maybe you wait for that pop out of the gate and you look to go short, but it doesn't look great. How many times have we seen the markets not look great at open, and then it was like that strong rally day? I don't know. Lots of earnings coming in this week. So Tesla's a big one. That's coming in tomorrow. I think we got Intel this week as well. And then I think we got Google. So those are the three big ones I think the markets are going to be watching. Tesla, who knows what's. We'll see how the quarterly earnings are. But I think more importantly, how the guidance or what Elon says is what the market is actually looking for. And people are just kind of counting on just bad earnings coming in. Otherwise, you got Palantir. Yeah, I think it's a little bit better risk reward to the downside than to the bull side. I don't think I'd be buying that one yet. Maybe shorting. You got Amazon is looking extremely rough. Whew. They have their earnings coming up soon as well, May 1st. Uh, Again, you have 3 days of selling, 4 days. We have 4 days of selling. Not opening in a good location. I would think that this is probably leaning to the short side, especially being underneath. Like this is our first time we've opened underneath that Wednesday candle, that April 9th candle. Uh, Probably not an open to go short immediately. We'll see. But I think you probably get some kind of shorts, maybe closing out, maybe taking some gains that held over the last 3 days. But that would push us into like 171.51, I think is an interesting spot to look short. The full retest, that would take you to like 173.75. That would put me in like I wouldn't get too aggressive on the short of that one. It would be a really nice spot if it rejects that, and then you could get the drop. But I think if you get into that zone, it's probably do nothing for me until you get back below 171.61. Otherwise, I'm looking for that to be resistance for today. So I don't even know if we come up to retest fully the that last Amazon candle. We'll see how this plays out. But that looks a little bit longer term to the rough side on that one. I kind of like that to the short. So the markets are not enough of a no man's land for you. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I could execute a trade from the Bermuda Triangle. I'm gonna see if that's possible. We'll see. I don't know how that plays out. Jenny says, "Do people still disappear? You guys are really concerned about this Bermuda Triangle. Do people still disappear in the Bermuda Triangle? Funny, my sisters and I were talking about that the other day. I really thought you were gonna. But like mid sentence as I was reading it, I thought you were gonna say my sister disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, and then I would definitely cancel my trip. So I don't know. I would be like, oh, sorry to hear about your sister, and then immediately at the same time cancel the entire thing. But I'm glad your sister's okay. I'm glad she's fine and she's not in the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know if people are still disappearing, but if I'm not back here after a week, you know the answer. We'll see. All right, let's take a look at AMD. AMD is a retest gap, but it's a retest after that Wednesday candle, which is a high wave indecision. Not a great open. We're below that one. I think you got probably a little bit more selling in AMD down to like 87.73. We could probably play that to the short side. Baba, I did see gapping up a little, but it's been kind of in no man's land. So it is gapping a small bit, nothing too crazy, but you have some resistance right ahead of you, somewhere around 109.34. So I don't think there's a safe, I don't think there's a really good play there until you get past that 109.34. You might have some upside from there, but I don't know. Shopify, and I think Disney got an upgrade today too. I didn't really see it moving, but Shopify is a retest gap from Thursday. However, we're below that Wednesday candle, so not a good look for it. That looks, I think, a little bit more like a gap and go. I think shop to the short side would make sense. You got a lot of room to the downside. Probably actually so far one of my favorites. You got it roughly to about $79, just under 79, 78, 78.88. So maybe if you get a little retest on that one, look for like 82.55. Otherwise, that gap and go from really this candle might be the play, or a high wave candle. Some people take some gains, high wave candle, take the break underneath it. Shopify actually might be a decent short. Google, Lucia says you can make a trade. It just won't be in this dimension. Yeah, I know. That'd be the best trade of the year too. And they're like, nah, we didn't see it disappeared. Like, what? Yeah, Google is also inside day. It's also a retest gap. You have a decent amount of support below you, so look for like 148.25. It looks like we tried to get down there, almost got down there to the penny, maybe a penny or two off on Thursday, and we are just slightly above it. But again, earnings on this one comes out on the 24th, so you might stay in this range from 145.71 up until, I don't know, 150, 114 ahead of it, but somewhere in that zone. And then the last spot, well, the next spot down that has not retested is 147.16, and then you have this candle, which is like it has to hold, although so many things already have not been holding 145.59. So I think right now the move is to the downside. Who knows what those earnings are going to look like? Who knows what the guidance is going to look like on Google? So I wouldn't go long term yet. I almost want to see what the earnings look like ahead and then make a decision if I'm going to take out like a long term position or swing. That is coming up. But for day trade, inside day, you have a little bit of support. Maybe if it drops a little bit lower, get down to this like 147.16, that might give you a better spot. But at least it's still inside day, and you have some room on this one, about $3 to the higher side. So we'll see what happens on Google, but not a great risk reward unless you have an amazing looking intraday setup somewhere. Get that a little higher on the list. Let's see. We don't have many tickers coming in today. Boeing, I don't know why, but Boeing is super strong. We'll go to Disney next. You got Boeing is still hanging out there, so a little bit of a gap and go to the bear side. You're back under 160. 160 was a key spot for it. The way this closed on Thursday, uh, pretty pretty solid. I would think. Watch this Wednesday candle. You are above that VPOC at this point. So 159.02. See if you get a little support there. If not, you're probably heading down to like 156.50 again. But for some reason, Boeing is still staying a little bit strong amongst the rest of the market's kind of just deterioration. Disney. Again, this one I think got upgraded to overweight. I'm not sure by who. I think it was from Pure Perform. Oh, Wolf. Yep, Wolf Research. They set a target to 112. So that is a decent gain if it happens, if you can get there. Again, they had when you see the upgrades, you're expecting maybe some kind of positivity, and at least it's holding up. It is technically gapping up 4 cents. We'll see where this thing opens, but until you really get past 85.34, I think we're just in chop on this one. But a little bit of some positive news, I guess, in the markets. Netflix also had earnings after hours. Netflix had a good-looking gap up on Thursday after the bell closed on earnings. Earnings were pretty positive, so they did beat by 16.5%. Earnings per share. Maybe watch Netflix for today. That might if you're bullish on things, you might have a good opportunity on it. Again, a little bit of a retest gap. I wouldn't go really too strong bullish until you beat 995.89. So we'll call it 995.90. Start getting above there. You might have some room up to, I don't know, probably 1023. Interesting move. Otherwise, for right now, you're probably going to be cautious going bullish at open. See if you get a pullback. See what happens at like 982.93. Big candle just came in on AMD if it's real. I don't know. TOS is throwing one in. Not sure that's a real one though. Yeah, TradingView has one as well. Is Nvidia's getting a little bit of a pump too. So we might have just had some news come out. I'm not sure what the news is yet. Didn't they win some government contracts again? Was that Boeing? Yeah, if it's Boeing, they also lost a lot of sales to China too, so it probably just cancels out. China said we're gonna go with Airbus. AMD's getting a little pop, and I'm watching Nvidia, so let's check if there's news, any comments. But it looks like it's specifically affecting chips. I don't really see too many other things in that candle. Nice little double bottom pre-market on SMCI. Um, but that's in no man's land on the daily, so I wouldn't be able to trade that one. You got MU. That one is not opening in a good location. Yeah, a lot of these things aren't even opening in a fantastic location. So we'll have to see. But otherwise, yeah, not little bit of a pump pre-market from some of these chips. MU got a small one. The biggest one I see is really AMD for some reason, and Nvidia is starting to move too. But again, we just talked about both of those. A lot of them are retests, so how well those things hold, I'm not really sure. We have time for maybe Apple. Apple is also looking fairly weak. Retest gap. Again, I think you get a little chop or a little lean to the bull side at open. Unless there was some news that really just came out that was really changing things. You got a nice little pop on some things, but nothing too crazy. So I don't think the news, regardless, is that crazy. But Apple is, I think, looking a little bit weak. Target down to like 189.36. See if there's some chop first. This one probably better spot to short if you like it short, 196.78. But that is the morning bell. So everybody in YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Unfortunately, we have to disconnect. You guys are incredible though, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, and we got some market volatility this week.